Tombstone, Arizona is very close to Benson, Arizona, so we took some time to visit Tombstone, Arizona, where we found out that cowboys like espresso, because there was an espresso shop here in Old Tombstone. There's a lot of fun stuff to do in Tombstone, a couple of different gunfights that you can go watch. You can watch the official gunfight at the OK Corral show, or you can see the comedy gunfight show, or you can see the other gunfight show, or the other gunfight show, or the indoor gunfight show. Lots of gunfight shows here. Plenty of good places to eat while you were here. And also the old mine that we didn't get a chance to get in and take a look at. So be sure to stop off in Tombstone, Arizona and get there early in the morning and spend the whole day there because there's lots of stuff to see and do. And then it's all over just before dinner time. Nothing was better for these cowboys than playing a good round of mini golf before they headed out to rustle up some cattle. After we spent some time in Tombstone, we went out for some horseback riding and really enjoyed the scenery and riding on the horses and just having fun out in the desert. I love the desert. These horses really like to run us under the trees. They could fit under the trees, but we couldn't. And I don't know if they knew that, and they were being ornery, or if they didn't know that. But I had to keep steering them away from the trees. That made us work up a big old appetite, so we went back to Tombstone for lunch, and then we had to go get dessert, so we got some dessert. It's a rainy day, but we still got to break camp, and always looking forward to the next leg of the journey and the next place to be, rather than being right here in the rain. Let's get on the road. We showed up in Quartzsite in time for the Quartzsite RV show. There's the big tent and lots of activities and lots of used RVs to take a look at and a pretty fun time overall. This is all of the solar that I can muster right now. I've got every single panel that I own working for me. Only getting 90 watts right now. But that is because of this overcast that you see above me. If it's ugly and it works, then it ain't ugly. So I am working on getting my solar panel set up. And I've got my solar charge controller in here, and this is all gonna be as waterproof as I can make it this morning. But I ran into problem number one. Look at this. They're backwards. The polarity is correct. The orientation of the plugs is wrong, and it's wrong on the one with the boot. So I gotta take them apart and fix it. Always check before you plug stuff in. And then today I've got my 120 watt panel charging a 100 amp hour battery.
I've got my 200 watt panel charging the house battery, which is behind the propane tanks, and then this 100 watt battery is charging the All Powers R600, which we've been using to charge laptops and cell phones.
We got it all hooked up and running, and it lasted us for the entire week. We didn't have any problems at all staying charged, and we didn't have any problems at all with running everything that we needed to run on battery the entire time we were here, even when I made some mistakes. One of the mistakes I made was I left the Starlink on overnight while we were sleeping, and that consumed 5 amp hours of juice every hour all night long. Woke up to a dead battery. Have some spares, but woke up to a dead battery. So the plan worked, but it could have worked a lot better, and there will be even better in the future because I learned a lot while we were doing this. This is a quick view of the campground we're at. This is at the Roadrunner area in Quartzsite, Arizona, and it's a 14-day area, and there was lots of people here, and there's still plenty of room. Make sure you get a chance to get out to Quartzsite and do some boondocking on some BLM land. This is fantastic.
It's raining here at Quartzfest. Look at this. That's only about 3 feet wide at most.
My buddy Chuck met up with me. He came from California and brought a couple of dirt bikes with him, and we were able to go out and enjoy the scenery, and such amazing scenery it was. There's some pretty easy roads here if you want, and then there's also some more difficult roads, and then there's no roads at all. It is totally up to you. So if you want to see what it is like to go out into the middle of nowhere and try and figure out how batteries will keep you alive and happy and healthy, then this is the channel for you. Hit that subscribe button down below and make sure that you are in the know when new videos come out. After a long day of riding and hanging out with friends, it was time to do a little more hanging out with friends, and we went out to the Quartzsite Yacht Club for dinner.
Yummy! Where's my fork? Oh, yum.
Fantastic food, and of course, after dinner we have to go out for some dessert and a little more sightseeing. This was a pretty cool car. This is a 70s Nova SS. Well, most of it is anyway. One of the best parts about Quartzsite is being able to just drive around in the desert and no roads to follow. I mean, there's kind of like paths to follow, but not official roads. You can go wherever you want as long as you're not riding into somebody else's campsite. And you do that because you don't want them riding into your campsite randomly. So there's a whole lot of respect going on too, which is really nice. Just head out and turn left, or turn right, or don't turn at all unless you have to. On the way out of Quartzsite, there is a place to take and dump your tanks. And we came in with half a fresh tank and we left with a quarter of a fresh tank. We didn't use a whole lot of water in the fresh tank situation. And dumping here at Tumbleweeds was $15. Can't beat it. Very easy. They're set up. They know this happens. They've got 3 different sites for dumping and 3 different sites for filling water. And pull in, dump your tanks, and get back on the road. And that's what we did. The solar situation was touch and go at the beginning of the week because we were scheduled to have a couple of days of rain right out of the gate. Rain means not as much sun, means not as much power back into the batteries, and I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to get enough power to last the week with that. We also started off with 2 full propane tanks. We've got the 30-pounders, 7 gallons of propane each, and again, didn't know how long that was going to last because we've always kind of had electricity to supplement kind of some of the different things, you know, like maybe reheat your food with a microwave instead of doing it with the propane, or plugging in a little electric heater while you're at the campsite to keep the place just comfy and cozy. Didn't have any of that. It was awesome. Time to see if all of the things that we prepared for actually worked, and they did. It was fantastic. Propane lasted us 1 tank 2 weeks, and we were only there for 1 week, so we had a week to spare, and we have a whole tank left after that. So about 4 weeks, and the temperature got to about 40 degrees at night. If it had probably gotten any colder at night, it would have probably not lasted as long. Quartzsite itself is one of those cool little places where you should bring something to do. If you don't bring something to do, it's going to be kind of hard for you to find something to do because there's, you know, it's more of an outdoorsy type place. It's all up to you. Would I do it again? You're right, I would. It was a blast to be out there, and I really enjoyed it. I am definitely looking forward to finding some excuse to get out to the middle of nowhere and test out my next adventure battery series and figure out what we can do with that. The way that we did the batteries this time was we just had a couple of different batteries that we would rotate in and out as necessary. I never needed to change the house battery, which runs the 12 volts on the refrigerator. The refrigerator ran on propane, but the controller and everything ran on 12 volts, and it ran the furnace fan, and then it did all of the lights and helped out a little bit with charging the cell phones. I had a smaller battery that I used for keeping the cell phones and the laptops charged, and that has its own built-in solar charge controller, which was a big help. And then I had another battery that ran the Starlink. So 3 different batteries, and the one that was really the big hog was the Starlink, because the Starlink runs all the time when it's plugged in, where your furnace only runs when it needs to, you know, blow hot air around. And the controller on the refrigerator only does, you know, the igniter. It does hardly anything. A good time was had by all of us, and we would definitely do it again. Maybe with like a little side-by-side UTV. That would be a lot of fun. There is a video right over here I think you will enjoy next. I'll be over there waiting for you.